Time for a weekly update from the Arcade Radio Network. Coming to you, taped from a bunker in northern Stockholm.
Merry Christmas to you all. That's all I'm gonna say right now, as we are entering week 49. And December, yes. Week 48 is history, and so is November in a while. And that's a month that nobody is ever going to miss. Which actually goes for 2020 as well, if you think about it. So we're gonna take a look on what's up with this beautiful station. Well, Sweden first. We're going for a lockdown-ish. 8 people at the same time in groups here in Stockholm in Sweden. No alcohol after 10 p.m. in pubs, and non-essential travels to Sweden are now, well, prohibited. You can probably argue with the government on those issues, but you cannot argue with the corona. So whatever you're doing here in Sweden and elsewhere, stay safe, because the corona, well, it is an equal opportunity offender, really. I'm saying that. All right, enough about that. I don't really have the time. Let's talk about the new stuff, what we've done during the last 7 days. Well, the broadcasting server has moved to a new virtual machine. And yeah, it caused some troubles. Can tell you more about that later. But as a general rule, it moved into production and is now working hunky-dory, okay? But I'm going to tell you how I did it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a riddle here. Yeah, that's right. So, let's do it. On Saturday, which was yesterday, I virtualized it. I had a USB drive, a very fast USB drive SSD that ran USB 3.1. I moved and virtualized the old hardware into that drive using VMWare P2V. Then I put it on the front-end server and powered everything up. It worked, but it was exceptionally slow. The CPU ran at a very high load. The transcoder, which ran at 10% CPU load on the old machine, was running at 40, 50, even 60% on the new one. And I couldn't figure it out. It's a much faster hardware. Why is this happening? But I said, okay, we're going to go ahead with this. And I could see that the new host machine, the front end, was struggling to keep that one virtual machine running. So then I copied, once I was done, this virtual machine into an NVMe M2 stick. That's an internal hard drive. And suddenly everything was super fast. It ran at a very low load. The host had no problems coping, and yeah, it was great. The transcoder ran at 9%, even less CPU load than the old one did. The old physical hardware, that is. So why? I'm going to give you a hint. It has nothing to do with the speed of the hard drive. But just think about it, and I will explain it to you in the end of this clip. So that's a little riddle for you. Well, anyway, no new songs, I'm afraid. Sorry to say that. I will add more songs, but this week it didn't happen. No new jingles, and I'm not sorry for that, because I think we have the ones we want to. But feel free to listen to the station and tell me what computer games I'm referencing, or rather that Nicole is referencing. Okay? And listeners, yeah, that would be nice. Actually, if you find some listeners, send them our way, because we're running very low on them. Okay? Yes. And if you're looking at a YouTube channel, you probably remember that last Sunday I said we have a new fine graphic theme. And I thought it was looking good. But Coreus, or the overseer from our Norwegian friends, he did not really agree. So he actually proposed a new fine design that had this Cannon Fodder theme, if you've seen it, with the soldiers breaking out of the screen and walking on it's a kind of desktop and running around in some guy's room. It's a very nice picture, and he drew it as a background for YouTube, and I put it in production here, so it looks much better, and the whole you know, the picture show that runs, it's now projected on the screen. It looks super cool. It's not as good as he proposed, so he actually gave me a PSD file, a Photoshop file, where he have improved it even further. So I'm going to put that in next week, because, you know, it would look really, really nice. Okay, so good. Let's talk about the downtime. Yeah, we had some downtime this first day when I installed VMware on my front-end server. We had 90 minutes during the Saturday evening, but it's not counted as that, because downtime for me is when, as I said earlier in this show, so to say, it's when you don't plan that it should happen. So this is planned. But troubles were abound in the Sunday afternoon, as suddenly the whole audio on YouTube, Twitch and Facebook started stuttering, and that was really hard to pin down. Turns out that there's some bugs in the driver on the VMware support for audio. So when I actually created a loopback adapter and connected everything up that way, it sounds perfect again. So sorry if you don't like it. And that also means that we now actually broadcast to Twitch. That's right, the Arcade Radio Network is now available on Twitch and on Facebook, but only during some events. So YouTube and Twitch is where you want to hit the station. Or you can, of course, listen through the webpage radio.arcade.net as per usual, or connecting to legacy.arcade.net with, I don't know, Winamp or VLC. Yeah, we've gone through that, so I'm not going to name that again. But the troubles did disappear during Sunday evening, and yeah, I almost caused my Ubuntu Linux to go into a well, you don't call it blue screen of death, you call it kernel panic, but it seemed like it wasn't that bad. But I had to restart the whole thing and hold the button in to kill the machine. So it was kind of hairy, but it's working now. Okay, then we have errata, you know, all the problems, the errors, the things that I said that wasn't true because I didn't know better. None, okay? I have not been reported any errors in my speech. Good. And last, well, the events hasn't to do much of the station, but Herankel or Björn in Visby, yeah, you know, the setup for this old cabin. He is creating his own new YouTube channel, and it seems like it's a few weeks away. I will report as soon as it opens. I wish him Godspeed on his endeavor. Then we have Ribbit, or Rickard as he's called, a Swedish guy with his own workshop and a really good skill repairing old, well, breaking down hardware, like retro computers and stuff. So if you have a 64, an Amiga or something, Atari, you can send it to him and probably he can fix it for you, okay? Ribbit.sc. He has a new YouTube video out where he shows his workshop. And also there's a new BBS coming up on the horizon. It's called Southside. But I will not tell you anything more about it because it's not officially open yet, but it will be coming on the 1st of January, which I will happily tell you about. So, okay, we're almost done. Week 49, new songs, that's all I have planned, and I hope to be able to put Coreus' new design in production, but I cannot promise anything. We're done here without one thing. Remember the riddle I told you about? Why did the system run much faster when I moved it from one hard disk to another? The premises was that I had it running on a USB drive, a fast one, SSD, into an internal NVMe drive. Well, 3 little letters for you, DMA. There's a hint for you. If you run hardware on a USB, you should know that if it's running heavily on it, like a USB stick or a hard drive or something, it will load the CPU pretty much, because every time it needs to do an interrupt, it will actually demand exclusive access to the CPU, causing the whole system to slow down, okay? Whereas NVMe and modern hard drives use this DMA, which means that it can push stuff into memory without bothering the CPU. That is the reason why it's speeded up, and I have never seen a difference. It's like load went from somewhere around pretty heavy to pretty light. So that's a good thing. Well, that would be it, and I'm gonna well, end this with a little bit of a greeting, a Christmas greeting from a real Commodore SX64.